Hello, and welcome to this vBrownBag session brought to you by Dell Technologies. My name is Yvonne Bourquin, and I'm a global technical product marketing consultant for Dell EMC PowerEdge servers with VMware. And with me is my colleague.
Hi, I'm Prim Li, global product manager for PowerEdge servers and VMware vSphere with Tanzu. We're excited to be here with you today to talk about how you can fast forward modern app innovation with our industry-leading servers and VMware Tanzu.
In today's world, we're in a constant state of change, frankly, whether it's your personal or your professional life. If there's one thing we've all learned in the last 18 months to 2 years, is to be flexible. And even in the corporate world, already 7 years ago, the CEO of General Electric at that time, which again, arguably is one of the greatest industrial companies in the United States, saw a need to become more software driven. You probably know General Electric. They're generally a household name, manufacturing appliances, and even jet engines. So you might be wondering, why would they feel a need to go towards more of a software focus? The answer is quite simple: innovation. The CEO understood that applications drive modernization and innovation, which ultimately helps you survive and thrive. Now, if you think about it, no industry is immune to disruption. So 15, 20 years ago, you could order a pizza and you had your basic options. Not like today, where you have cauliflower crust and gluten-free and a million toppings to choose from. Similarly, if you think about if you were able to take a vacation, hopefully this past summer, where did you stay? Did you stay at one of the major hotel chains, or did you book through Airbnb? When you were on that vacation, how did you get around? What was your mode of transportation? Did you hail a cab, or did you use your phone to just call an Uber? Since the year 2000, over half of the Fortune 500 companies, unfortunately, have ceased to exist, gone bankrupt, or been acquired. Quite simply, organizations that don't innovate will not survive. It's imperative to innovate. Now, Prim and I don't know all the answers to help you get there, but what we can talk about is how to modernize your technology infrastructure so that you can be primed to fast forward your innovation through applications, almost to be in somewhat of a constant state of innovation. So for more information, I'm going to turn it back to Prim.
Popular words of 2020, actually of the 21st century, undoubtedly they are survive and thrive. And that equate easily to innovate and modernize in IT and business world. That leads to another buzzword, virtual. Virtual infrastructure helps you evolve, modernize, and ultimately transform. It can help you achieve greater IT resource utilization, flexibility, scalability, and cost savings. Now let's talk virtualization. Virtual machines have been around for decades. They solve infrastructure problems by letting you get more out of servers and facilitate limited workload portability. Both virtual machines and containers will continue to play important roles. While VMs, virtual machines, let you run several virtual servers on a single piece of hardware, regardless of OS, containers offer lightweight, high-density app virtualization. That's the ability to spin applications and instances up and down in seconds. Containers solve application problems by enabling microservices, increasing portability, and further improving resource utilization. Developers will be more agile. Businesses are better able to respond to the rapid changes in these modern competitive landscape. Containers are actually proven, and leading companies are adopting them more and more. The market researches showed that within the next 5 years, containers will become a dominant technology. 85% of the global organizations will be running containerized applications in production. And using containers, that can be challenging to run in production. And the vSphere 7 with Tanzu helps this. Finally, organizations no longer need separate systems for their VMs and containers. Speaking of separation, it seems that about half of organizations have integrated application development into the IT department, but half have not. Yet you can see here from the data that app developers have a very strong role in influencing where these applications are deployed. One of the benefits of vSphere with Tanzu is that it brings together IT and DevOps by giving them common platform to build and manage applications securely. Now let me show you evolution of applications. From the simplest structure, a few VMs in an application on the left, now applications consist of both VMs and containers, and they are better together. So before asking why we want Kubernetes, we have to wonder why we need containers, right? Containers are a big revolution in software developments because they bring the production to our local environment. No more worry about Linux or Windows compatibility. With containers, all issues are easily reproducible in all workstations. Moreover, each environment is portable with no extra effort. Developers have the power to package applications, and this is good because they know how the applications should work, right? Container means fewer things to maintain, no differences between environments, and less friction. Container images can be built and pushed to a registry. From here, they can be pulled and deployed anywhere, your desktop, virtual machines, either on-prem or in the cloud. The real advantage of containers compared to virtual machines is that they virtualize the operating system, not resources. And this translates to a lighter, easier, and economical way to host applications. Managing containers for production is a demand. Kubernetes is the leading container orchestration solution. It open source and derives from the Google experience. Its infrastructure allows orchestration of containers and integrates with all the way systems. That means you can install it on-prem or cloud and even in hybrid cloud solutions. Kubernetes is a stable, reliable, and easy-to-use solution. Simply the best way to deploy containers, a great platform to safely exit the traditional virtual machine shield and go to the cloud. It brings dynamism, reduces the system admin cost, and pushes a service to a level of quality that would be hard to achieve in any other way. Also, many traditional issues like networking and data protection can be overcome by advanced configuration of Kubernetes itself. After all, modern applications need a platform that can run both VMs and containers, and that's where we can help. But where is Kubernetes being used? Yvonne?
Thanks, Prim, for that detail and insight into the massive container growth, both now and in the future. To answer your question of where Kubernetes is being deployed, we'll look to this survey that VMware has released both this year as well as their survey from last year. And you'll see that the majority of you are actually deploying Kubernetes on-prem. Quite a few of you are also deploying it in a single public cloud. And we've seen some growth year over year in those deploying on multiple public clouds. There's been small growth as well with people deploying at the edge, and we do expect that to continue over time. But again, basically, people are deploying containers in a variety of places, which is why we're proud to bring you the Dell Technologies VMware Tanzu Advantage. We help you implement Tanzu on your terms, which essentially means that we enable you to consume it how you see best for your organization. If you need consumption as a service, we encourage you to look at our Apex Cloud offering with Tanzu. If you need a turnkey solution, we encourage you to look at VxRail, which is the only hyper-converged infrastructure system built with VMware for VMware. And then last but certainly not least, those of you that want to build your own solution, we would recommend industry-leading PowerEdge servers and storage offerings. Now, no matter how you choose to consume Tanzu with Dell Technologies, we will help you with the planning. We have tools that automate, and we also have, of course, intense security throughout to help you deliver that container innovation, whether you're looking at the private cloud, public cloud, or edge locations. So given that you signed up for this vBrownBag session, which was obviously predominantly around PowerEdge servers with Tanzu, we'll spend the rest of this time together talking about how the two work together, tips for you to deploy, and what those advantages are. With PowerEdge and VMware, we're proud to say that we accelerate and empower your hybrid cloud. And frankly, that's more than just marketing speak. We have several third-party studies that help indicate the performance advantages that you get, whether you're deploying VMware vSphere, vSAN, VMware Cloud Foundation, or Tanzu. With this offering, we help you flexibly design and scale your hybrid cloud. So earlier this year, PowerEdge actually had our biggest launch ever in our history. We have quite a few new models based on the latest CPU technologies. We have increased offerings for the edge. So again, you're going to get that maximum flexibility to deploy. Speaking of deployment and manageability, we also have systems management integrations with VMware vCenter, specifically, probably one of the longest acronyms in the world, OMIVV, or Open Manage Integration for VMware vCenter. This is a plugin from Dell that goes straight into vCenter that lets you manage and update your firmware right alongside your software. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention security. With this launch earlier this year, PowerEdge added a number of NIST-based security features that we're proud to say, in some cases, even some industry-first and industry-leading offerings. We know Tanzu is a relatively new offering from VMware. So we thought we would first level set with what can you get? What are the different additions? Now, with all of these, essentially, VMware did re-architect vSphere to embed Kubernetes directly into vCenter. So you will get that flexibility of being able to manage both your VMs and your containers all in the same place, not having to learn anything new, no new tools needed. Tanzu Basic is the fastest way to get started with Kubernetes. Tanzu Standard helps you run and manage Kubernetes across multiple clouds. It's what you would do if you're running VMware Cloud Foundation and you want to add Kubernetes. Then Tanzu Advanced is the most robust offering. But for this session here, we're going to continue to look at Tanzu Basic, and I'll turn it back to Prim to give you some more insight and details on how the two work together.
Thank you, Yvonne. And just to draw a picture of how Tanzu resides and work within vSphere, with Tanzu, that lets you run Kubernetes workload using your existing IT infrastructure. With Tanzu, that bridges the gap between IT and developers for cloud-native apps on-prem and in the cloud. And by using vSphere with Tanzu, you can turn a vSphere cluster to a platform for running Kubernetes workloads in the dedicated resource pools. Once enabled on a vSphere cluster, vSphere with Tanzu creates a Kubernetes control plane directly in the hypervisor layer. You can then run Kubernetes containers, or you can create an upstream Kubernetes clusters through the VMware Tanzu Kubernetes Grid service and run your applications inside these clusters. When running containers and VMs on a Kubernetes platform, DevOps teams can consolidate their workload footprint to just one platform. What good is vSphere with Tanzu? Again, run your legacy VMs and run your Kubernetes containers all in the same tool. We can't say enough that vSphere with Tanzu is the safest way to get started with Kubernetes workloads on existing infrastructure. It allows customers to do these: deploy a developer-ready infrastructure, align DevOps and IT teams, and simplify cloud operations. You can use existing vSphere environment to deliver Kubernetes clusters at a rapid pace. You manage multiple Tanzu Kubernetes clusters alongside VMs through vCenter, and this simplifies hybrid cloud operations. vSphere with Tanzu Basic is optimized for small to medium scale deployments, or that translates to between 10 to 25 Tanzu Kubernetes clusters, but typically in actual, it could be much higher. You can also protect traditional and modern applications with the built-in internal firewall and also the native IDS, IPS. Cannot overlook security. With vSphere, you can get intrinsically secure infrastructure, both access and the data. That you can perform in network isolation, you can conduct remote attestation, and also you have an identity federation to secure your access using your account management, right? A little more on the security enhancement here. vSphere 7 Update 1 included vSphere Trust Authority and, as I mentioned earlier, Identity Federation. Now with the Update 2, you get native key provider and confidential containers. The native key provider is built into vSphere, enabling encryption and advanced security without the cost and complexity of a third-party key management server, making it a lot easier to take advantage of these security features. Confidential containers for AMD hosts, that provides an enhanced hardware-based security for container-based applications, making it easy to improve overall security posture within the containers, as well as preventing breaches from the host. The bottom shows the FIPS validation of vCenter server services and the vSphere product audit guides. These help make regulatory compliance audits easy to complete and pass by offering the guidance about which vSphere security controls relate to what requirements. Now let Yvonne give you examples of how Tanzu and PowerEdge together help enhance operations, performance, and experience.
Thanks, Prim. So Prim just walked you through some of the features and benefits of vSphere with Tanzu. But let's be honest, you could run Tanzu on a variety of x86 servers. But my question is, why would you? An example that you're looking at here is based on a principal technology study that was recently done showing how the PowerEdge R7525 running vSphere 7 U2 in a containerized environment has better performance than the previous gen PowerEdge server. You'll see that in a containerized environment, you can process images in less time and handle more frames per second. You might be wondering, well, why does this matter? So before organizations can use their image-based machine learning algorithms to analyze the data, they first must prepare that data. So with a solution that can sort and prepare images faster, organizations working in areas such as healthcare, manufacturing, or security could reach insights sooner. Another example is retail. So for stores that use machine learning to prevent shoplifting, or computer vision rather, they use computer vision to prevent shoplifting, keep their shelves properly stocked, or perhaps to offer some special marketing promotions to their customers. Accomplishing machine learning workflow tasks faster could lead to better customer experiences and insights. Another principal technology study that we like to highlight for those of you who are already PowerEdge customers, and thank you, by the way, it just takes 7 tasks to add Tanzu to your PowerEdge cluster running vSphere 7. Those are outlined here. Again, we have a white paper and an infographic on how to do that. But what we'll do first here, because we don't have enough time to basically show you the whole process, the whole workflow, what we'll do is we'll just concentrate on the last couple of steps, especially configuring the workload management engine. So I'm going to pass it over to Prim, and she's going to walk you through a static demo exactly of essentially what your experience would be right there in vCenter.
All right, so hopefully this static demo conveys how you are guided by VMware to configure the workload management engine. By using workload management, you can leverage both Kubernetes and vSphere functionality, and select vCenter server and network. Once you configure a vSphere cluster for workload management, create namespaces that provide compute, networking, and storage resources for running your Kubernetes applications. Then you can configure namespaces with policies for resource consumption. Then 2 more steps, setting up your content library, Tanzu Kubernetes grid, before final review and confirmation. One of the first steps to ensuring a successful Tanzu deployment, however, is to get your prerequisites completed. If not, you'll end up with error messages, which honestly might not be the easiest to decipher. So be sure to leverage documentation from VMware that has a lot of updates recently added. So we encourage you to check back if you need anything. The compute resources, the 4 nodes recommended, although you can start with just 3 if needed, make sure you have the most current Dell custom image. The shared storage is a must. It's likely that you have an external storage already, but if you want a faster way, especially if you're considering an HCI or already using a vSAN, check out our Dell EMC vSAN Ready nodes. These are pre-configured HCI building blocks that have been certified to run VMware vSphere. One critical element to a successful Tanzu deployment is the AVI load balancer. Admittedly, this can be time-consuming heavy lift. To make this easier, a team at VMware has released a Flame that helps you deploy the load balancer, wizard-based approach to setup. It makes sure your IP ranges are appropriate, your DNS details are correct, and so forth. Yvonne is going to show you another real-life example, power of Dell and Tanzu.
Thanks, Prim. Appreciate those helpful tips. I'm sure our customers and everyone watching does as well. So we did want to show you an example of how at Dell, we don't just talk the talk, but we actually walk the walk. And the example that you're looking at here is based on our own Dell Digital IT organization building their solution based on PowerEdge servers, Tanzu, storage, and some of our other offerings. And what you can see here is that our team was able to speed application development cycles by 85%. We were able to increase feature launches on Dell.com from 8 to 10 per year to 55. We're able to manage an infrastructure team for 6,000 developers with a 20-person IT team. And we're able to execute upgrades and patches with 0 downtime. These were our results. And we'd love for you to get started and to try it out. And honestly, down the road, if you're so inclined, we'd love to have you as a customer reference one day. Dell Technologies and VMware want to be your team to help you with your software-defined infrastructure needs, and especially your container development with Tanzu. We're number 1 in servers and converged infrastructure and HCI. We're number 1 in enterprise storage, but we want to be your number 1 partner. We have over 20 years of partnership, and we would like to be your partner for longer than that. Should you need support, rest assured that you can call one of our over 1,800 VMware certified support professionals for both your hardware and your software needs, including Tanzu. And don't forget, as we mentioned earlier in the presentation, our unified approach to lifecycle management, enabling you to manage both your firmware, your software, and your containers, all from VMware vCenter. We thank you very much for your time attending this vBrownBag session, and we hope you have an incredible VM world. Thank you.